Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the Curt powered taillight converter with 4-pole wiring on our 2024 Hyundai Kona. Adding trailer wiring is absolutely essential if you plan on doing any kind of towing with your vehicle. It's going to keep you safe and legal out there on the road by allowing your trailer's turn signals to work and your tail lights and also your brake lights. This is what ours looks like on our neighbor's vehicle today. As you can see, we have it mounted to a universal bracket. It does come with this dust cap included. That's going to help keep any dirt and debris and also any moisture, so you don't have to worry about your terminals getting corroded or anything like that. All in all, as I said, it's absolutely essential to have trailer wiring to keep you safe and legal out there on the road. And as far as install goes, there isn't quite yet a direct plug-in kit for the Kona, so you do have to do some splicing, and it's kind of tough to get up into the tail lights on the car. So if that's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. However, if you are looking to set this up yourself today, feel free to follow along and I'll show you how we did ours. To start our install, we'll have to get better access to our tail light wiring that's back here. So I'm going to start by taking this wheel well off, just a couple Phillips screws. So there's one Phillips screw here and then one below that behind the tire. And once you have both of those off, there will be just a couple push pins. So there's one right here. Just get a pin removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, pop the center out and pull it out. There's one here, and then there's going to be one on the back side here. Might be tricky to see, but it's just up against the frame of the vehicle. We'll pop that out. And with those removed, we can pull our wheel well back. That's just going to give us a little more room to work with. So here's the plug that we're going to be using. It's kind of difficult to get my hands up in there and get a shot of it. But essentially, there's just a tab that's in between the plug and the body of the vehicle. If you push on that tab and hear it click, it will release, and then you just pull the harness out. And then we'll do that same process on the passenger side. Here's a better view through the wheel well. As you can see, I have it unplugged now, and it's really tight against the body, like I said, so there's a certain orientation that you put the plug in. You should be able to pull it down. That way we can access the wires on the back of it. I'll just go over our wiring real quick. Our 4-pole, that's of course going to be attached to our hitch. That's to plug into our trailer wiring. And let's see here. Our black wire, we'll extend that out. That's our power wire. So we'll put an extension on that and run it to the front of the vehicle. White is ground. We'll just run a self-tapper through that ring terminal into a nice solid ground on the body. Brown, that is our daytime running light. So that's going to run our tail light wiring. Red is our brake lights. We'll have to run that to our brake light wires. Yellow, left turn. And then the longer wire, the green wire, we'll have to route that over to our right side tail light. So I'll just show you how we'll make all of our connections. Included in the kit is these quick connects here. You could use these, but I'm just not really a big fan of them, especially when we're working with wires outside the vehicle like we are today. I'd much rather use a heat shrink butt connector like this. All of our connections will essentially be the same. We'll just have to strip back a bit of wire, and then we'll have to come in and test our wires on our factory wiring harness. Once you figure out which wire does what, we'll take, for example, the daytime running light. I would cut in the middle of that one and then just make a connection, meaning I would slide both of my wires, both the brown and the factory one, into that, and then connect the other end to the other end of that wire. Now we have most of our driver's side connections made. It's pretty tough to see up there, but I'll try to show you the last one. This is for our brake light, hence the red wire. That's plugging into our green and orange stripe wire. So as you can see, connected. I just twisted those two together, and then on the other end, I stripped back quite a bit just so I could just kind of fold the wire over itself, just to make it a little bit thicker because these wires are pretty narrow. Just slide it into your butt connector, crimp it down, give it a little tug, make sure it's nice and tight, and then we'll go over those with a heat gun to make sure those connectors shrink up. But as you can see here, I tested our wires. Once again, the green with orange stripe is our brake light signal. The solid green, that is for our daytime running lights, so that's with brown. And for our turn signal, that is the blue wire, so that's connected to the yellow. Now for our green wire, I routed it over to the passenger side, just going up above our bumper beams here, trying to stay out of the way of anything, and I'll zip tie it down later. I did find that the wire was kind of short, so I had some extra wire, so you'll notice a color change here. But if you don't have extra wire laying around, then what you could do is at this point run your power wire up to the front, and then you'll probably have some slack there, and you could use that wire. But whatever you have laying around, I just didn't like how tight it was going to be, so I had it about a foot on. And then I did that same connection with the butt connector, but this time using the orange wire for our right turn signal. As for our ground wire, we'll just take the included self-tapping screw and find anywhere where there's solid metal on the body, and just somewhere that we can tuck the wire out of our way. So right here should be fine. We'll just run that self-tapper through the ring terminal. Make sure that stays tight. And then our power wire, I just butt connected our extension that's included. And at this point, I'll run it towards the front of the vehicle, and I'll come back and show you the route that I took. Here's how I routed our power wire. The main goal is just to stay away from any hot or moving parts. So I kind of tucked it up above our brake line here, ran it up above our filler hoses. And then from here, I had to take this skid panel down. It's just a couple of 10mm nuts, and these nuts here you can turn by hand, but it's all tucked up above that and to where it comes out here. So from here, I'm just gonna follow our brake lines up into the engine bay. What I'll do is feed a piece of airline tubing down, tape the end of this wire to it, and pull it up. So I'll see you up there in the engine bay. Now I have our power wire pulled up to the engine bay. We have quite a bit of slack, so I'll just cut some of that off. And then I'll strip the end of this. Get that stripped a little more. We'll take our fuse holder. I've already crimped on one end a ring terminal. On the other end, another heat shrink butt connector. That heat shrink butt connector end is just gonna get crimped on here. And once we get that crimped, we can connect it to our battery. Crimp that, make sure it's not loose. So to connect to our battery, there's a 10mm nut here. Pop that off. And we can slide our ring terminal right under that. Get the nut back on. And make sure when you're doing this that your fuse is not installed. It should come uninstalled. And we're connected to the battery, and now we can get our fuse plugged in and get to testing. And the fuse really just plugs into our fuse holder. Just line up the prongs and push it down, and then we can close our cap. Now I have our 4-pole tester plugged into our 4-pole wiring. If you don't have a tester, you could hook it up to your trailer, but we'll just run through the lights real quick. This should be our daytime running lights, our left turn, right turn, and our brake lights. All that's left is to find a suitable mounting location for your 4-pole wiring. I've used a no drill bracket with a universal 4-pole bracket. Just makes things a lot easier and you don't have to worry about drilling any holes in anything. Other than that, all that's left is to get our wheel wells back together and finish tucking up our wires and cleaning things up. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Curt powered taillight converter with 4-pole wiring on our 2024 Hyundai Kona.